what dungeons are which ones have the crystals, which ones have the pendants, but that doesn't really matter too much when you have to finish them all anyway. We're off.
We do get that map for Eastern Palace out of the Sanctuary. I doubt we're going to see too many map checks tonight. At best, we'll probably get a talk to Sahasrahla or the Big Bomb Vendor to find out, those important pendants and crystals. But other than that, probably no checks.
We also get the immediate split, so Nep is going for the Houlihan play here, whereas Fouton is just going straight to Castle. We see what he's gotten here. Not much, but that drop of a single bomb could potentially also be ridiculously useful early on.
Yeah, and definitely worth, you're seeing Fouton at least try to see if maybe he can get another bomb, but unfortunately unable to. Does get a bottle, which will help in Kakariko for sure.
Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, Fouton, where are you to? Actually, both of them, I guess. So Nep's buying some bombs, check what's on the island. Quarter heart. Nothing interesting. This is a really interesting play from Fouton here. I don't know that I've seen this before, just going straight to Sahasrahla.
So, I mean, with the one bomb, it's not a bad idea, especially given that going into Eastern and dipping it even without a bow, big key, or lamp are pretty standard plays where you figure I'm going to have to do this area at least twice.
We got one of our 6 pod smalls. Guarantee you'll see a couple of more of those come across as time goes on. Green pendant in Turtle Rock.
That's a scary thought. Ooh.
Yeah, what's not great about that is that you need a lot of stuff to finish Turtle Rock, and the fact that it's a pendant means that some of that stuff that's needed to beat Turtle Rock could potentially be locked way at the end of the game, past Ganon's Tower. We don't know yet. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's one of the really big differences if you haven't played an AD type seed, especially AD keys, is it is very likely that you'll have to go into Ganon's Tower to find Go mode. It's not guaranteed that you're going to have all the keys or items to finish a seed.
The prize for Aga 1 is a compass, so we're not going to see that, but they do have to beat Aga Tower in order to beat the game. That is one of the dungeons that needs to get done. God, I love that 20 rupee crab. It's like that and bombs is my absolute favorite thing to see come out of that.
And we have a very safety-heavy seed so far. That's 3 bottles in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, in an AD keys seed, they're going to be essentially full clearing this entire game, or very close to it. Really, really high clear rates here. So I think as a matter of course, you just kind of get everything. I think this is interesting. So Nep ended up buying those 10 bombs from the Lake Hylia vendor, and now has 9 bombs to do Kakariko Village with, whereas Fouton is out. So I guess he's going to go straight. Okay, no. Is he going to buy bombs first? He is. Which is unfortunate because we just saw bombs in the hut there. Yeah, nice pearl.
Yeah, it looks like Fouton's at least going to try to get some bombs in some of these early checks before buying them. Worth a shot. Fortunately, not paying off, but with how much money Fouton was able to get from the 2 rupee crabs on the way, money's no real issue to start this time.
Man, imagine doing all that and then seeing the first thing you get in the hut is just bombs. Poor guy. Speaking of thieves, Thieves Big is nice because basically as soon as you can get to Thieves Town, you can complete the whole thing, especially with that sword.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty straightforward clear at this point.
Yeah, this is okay. So here's one of the other questions when it comes to AD keys. You get into situations like, I love the B drop off. You get into situations where like you can complete most of Thieves Town, but if you're missing that small key, then there is one chest that you can't get until you find that small key. So do you complete the dungeon and just leave that alone forever?
Right, and a lot of this mode also becomes a question of understanding that logic. There's, key logic is complicated in a sense, but there's ways around it. It's just how much do you want to work around logic? So, for example, that Thieves Town clear, while we could complete the dungeon from the perspective of if we used keys in the right way, logically speaking, we would need to find the small key for it to be clearable.
Yeah, they have a couple of early pod smalls too, which is nice. 'Cause eventually, when you actually do get to Palace of Darkness, you want a few of those in order to actually clear the place out.
Yeah, they'll hope for probably 4 or 5 is the minimum really to full clear it. You can do it with 4. 5 makes the routing just that much cleaner.
So really, pretty much almost, pretty much almost complete garbage in Kakariko Village. Besides that one sword, and the Moon Pearl will be useful later. Those keys will be useful later, but nothing to really point you in any specific direction yet.
Yeah, definitely a good assortment of pod keys. So that's always a good feeling. But yeah, it's not anything strongly hinting, hey, go here first.
Damn is not interesting so far either. I find it really interesting that Fouton's the way he's done this has put him a tiny bit behind, even though both of them did end up going to Sahashala.
Yeah,
But
having to buy
really,
those 10 bombs just a little bit slower.
yeah, at the time that he did, as opposed to Nep buying them on the way up to Sahashala.
The other piece of that, of course, is that Fouton did check out the Lumberjack Ledge. Nep did not head there.
That's true. I mean, once we get out of the light world here, we're going to see a pretty big split, I would think. Yeah. Hey, there's something.
And Fouton is taking advantage of that knowledge of having checked the bush crabs to know that we have easy access to so much money.
Yeah, he's kind of raking it in.
Yeah, I think this might be in anticipation of, hey, I'm going to fake Flipper probably and head towards Zora, so let me get the money to make this play.
Yeah, that's totally his plan. All right. Is whatever we find here going to actually help us out, or are they going to have to make some terrible dive into some place they don't want to go? Nope. That is not interesting at all. So this is interesting. So Nep didn't end up getting 500 bucks, which means that Nep is not going to do any fake flippering things, because if you don't have the 500, what is the point? So Nep's going to stick in logic, check back of escape. We haven't seen front of escape yet either, which is a big old question mark.
Unfortunately, still nothing out of the back of escape either. So I think front of escape is really a good play. And of course, there's the one location nobody wants to go to this early, Agina.
Yeah, we're really not looking at much left. They can skip the way up the mountain, but there's really no guarantee that there's going to be anything interesting there. All right. Nap off to escape, and just like we predicted, Fouton off to do his fake flippering. All right, I'm curious. We know that the island is garbage, but everything else here is kind of interesting. The only bit that's actually in logic is giving those 500 rupees to the Zora.
Yeah, the glove does give us that as a logical check, but being able to check both our friend under the bridge and the waterfall, and possibly, check out to see what Zora Waterfall is going to offer to fill those bottles.
Well, that wasn't it. So you're deeply interested in a small shield. There we go. Okay.
So there is Dark World access. And that is actually an in-logic item. Even without the Hyrule Castle small key, that first chest is always in logic.
All right, so Fouton's going to have to make his way there eventually. This is kind of nice because it keeps them away from a lot of like really gross things, like clearing out half of Eastern Palace or making your way up the mountain to get 2 things. Hey, that red cane's nice.
Yeah, having red cane early, who knows when we're actually going to find flippers. So that will be much appreciated in not just the dungeons that require it, but really the rest of the seed.
Honestly, that
Maria is and that's our lamp.
That's a fire source. Dang. Okay, so this has actually been kind of a worthwhile trip, both for that cane and for that knowledge. God, if this is the flippers, then this is the most amazing check of all time. Oh, you know what? I'm still on board with this check. That is
500 rupees for a mirror is not a scam at all.
Okay, because this is interesting, because Nep is going to go to the Dark World, presumably, without that mirror. And by the time Fouton gets to the Dark World, he's going to have that mirror. That is going to be a huge difference when they get back there. Yeah, because you can see here, Nep is going straight to Kakariko Village, probably going to head to Village of Outcasts, probably going to finish through Thieves Town. Which totally makes sense. But this entire region of the world is so much better with the mirror. All right, does Fouton go straight to escape? Yes. Okay. All right. So this is one of the other things that's a bit of an easier choice in all Dungeons Keys, is usually going into Skull Woods is a bit of a question mark and kind of a personal preference issue between people. This is also interesting. Fouton, I guess if you have the mirror, this makes a lot of sense, but he's just going straight to the back. See whatever's back here.
Yeah, it's definitely a very quick set of checks to get there with that mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anyway, in all Dungeons Keys, you almost certainly see people come in here and do as much as they can in Skull Woods because it's a way bigger value play than it would be in pretty much any other mode.
Yeah, in many ways, the front half of Skull Woods really is almost considered as just being overworld. It's just so accessible so quickly in Dark World that it doesn't have anything blocking it. You know, those 5 checks in the front portion, you know, everything besides the big key or the big chest are easily able to be accessed.
Yeah, whereas otherwise in other modes, you'd like hope to get one item, if that, or maybe you're just going to waste your entire time in the front of Skull Woods. I think a lot of people like to put it off until they have the fire rod and then make their checks starting from the way back, which I think makes a lot of sense if you can do that. But here it's just like, there's 5 things. Why not? Yeah, this is the only tough part is you got to go get that key because you're really... Oh, I was literally about to say you're really not guaranteed to get any keys for Skull Woods in Skull Woods, but... Well, yeah, that's
and
nice.
Our second sword. So, not a whole lot out of Skull, but getting this, our second sword is definitely going to help out in the long run.
Yeah. I suspect that Fouton's going to be doing literally the same thing here in a second, just with the benefit of that mirror. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, mirror to the front, and I mean, it's got to be like, where else would you go? Can't go up the mountain. I mean, you can go up the mountain, but you can't get to the Titan's Mitts locked stuff up the mountain. So why not?
Definitely hoping for a hook shot or a hammer before making really any play up the mountain. Hook shot probably being the larger piece to making a play up there.
And I don't know, at this point in the game, I'm really hoping for that hammer. This is the other problem, is like both of them, I think, are going to be going into Thieves Town and full clearing Thieves Town, and the one thing that they can't do is get the big chest. There are 2 items.
We have all 4 bottles. Getting that last one filled with a green potion at the chest game.
Yeah, it would be nice. More big keys.
But that is a great find out of the Bombable Hut or the brewery. And this is going to make a big difference in at least this, in Thieves Town especially. Thieves Town has a lot of straight lines in it, and boots will really give a huge time advantage here.
Yeah, this is actually interesting. Poor Fouton, he's going to be kicking himself when he gets out of here. Could have walked 5 steps down and had literally the thing that you want.
Yeah, and you're seeing just how much of a difference it makes as, you know, Fouton had probably about 10, 15 seconds earlier into this dungeon, and Nep is already, you know, not just in line, but pulling a little ahead in this dungeon.
I think that's just generally, I don't know. It feels a little weird. Like, I think maybe you're thinking, what are the odds that I'm going to find the Thieves Town Small and the hammer before I get into Thieves Town? not great, but I also think it's like, I don't know. It's a little weird not to do the periphery, but what do I know? So it's both like he's not going to have the boots, which is unfortunate. He's not going to have the Master Sword, which is kind of whatever. Doesn't means he can't kill the blue guys in one hit. Too bad. And not gonna. I guess that's really it.
I mean, I will say it is odd that Fouton went straight into Thieves without actually checking any of the Village of Outcasts checks.
The odds that you're going to find both of the things you need to get the last chest in there are pretty low. Although I think you'd be kicking yourself if they actually did. This beautiful sink on the stairways. Amazing. All right, 2 more items go here. What do we got? That was a small key for this place. Oof. That's fine. Having an ice small makes it like slightly less terrible to make your way through Ice Palace when you're actually there.
Yeah, getting 1 Ice Palace small, 1 Mire small. These are like little things that'll help make the dungeons just a little bit smoother from a clearing perspective. Just it won't change the overall ability to do so. Our runners, very experienced on key logic and how best to clear a dungeon quickly without, wasting any.
That's pretty good. Now let's see it with a slightly shorter sword. There you go. The exact same thing with a slightly shorter sword.
Yeah, very nicely done on both of those fights for blind. There's the experience of just knowing it's a scripted fight, so as long as you can get through same motions every time, you'll be in great shape.
Yeah, it's funny that nice second dig. Don't be thieves. Okay. It's nice that it's interesting that the difference between having the boots there was essentially 1 blind fight. This is also interesting because Fouton with the Titansmiths and the mirror, there's basically no reason for him not to grab the frog on the way through here. So he's about to be kicking himself here in a second. Yeah. There you go, bud. Well, here's hoping that one of the several places around this area has a little bit of cash.
Yeah, at least 1 rupee, because Aero Game is only $20, right?
I mean, if you're full clear in the game anyway, you might as well do. Okay, here is the other one. Yeah, if you're full clear in the game anyway, you might as well do an Aero Game. No, Fouton's heading up here. Which I don't think we found anything interesting in Skullwoods, did we?
Just that Master Sword was the really big item.
Yeah, that's pretty okay, I guess. Oh, look at that. He gets to put the block down. What a blessing. Ooh. Okay. We got ourselves a bow. So that combined with the fact that we found 4 pod smalls so far means that a potential sequence break over to the pod area looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, as it stands right now, without that hammer or flippers, we are technically locked from going over there, but I'm sure that will not stop our runners. And there's another Skullwoods small key out of King's Tomb. We have more than enough keys for that dungeon.
Dang. Yeah, this is a rough decision. I don't know. Like, we'll see what Fouton decides to do after this, because this is where you would sequence break your way over to pod with the boots if you were going to sequence break your way over to pod with the boots. Whether he decides to do it or not is the big question mark, I guess.
Yeah, so Fouton didn't set up the Skullwoods area water walk, but I think this will be at least a check of Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, Graveyard, and a quick check of Bumper. Nothing on Bumper.
Yeah, no reason not to do all of this. All right, next question. Where's Nep off to?
Could this be an early play to pick up Purple Chest?
Could be. I'm curious.
Because I don't see anything else really in this area.
This could also be the setup for the water walk to pod. Because, like, why else go this way without the... Oh, okay. Well, now I'm not sure.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a Kern jump.
All right. There you go. I mean, you got to be thinking with 4 pod smalls. There we go. You got to be thinking with 4 pod smalls. There's something there, right? 4 pod smalls and the bow.
Yeah, the question is, what was going to bring us over here? If Fouton does probably do Purple Chest and the K45, you got to think there's going to be an item in one of those spots to bring us over to this side of the map.
I like the setup for the quick warp, even though you don't have the mirror. All right, I am excited. What in the heck is in pod? Actually, I guess he's going to the pyramid first, because why wouldn't you?
And there we are getting that arrow game.
All right. Come on, Fouton, you got this. Nice. Absolute. Oh, you're going to do it again. All right. So we got ourselves an ice rod. We do need one of those for exactly one thing. So that's good. Honestly, this is just a general curiosity thing. I'm not sure whether or not you have the potential to get money faster doing the dig game or getting money faster doing the arrow game. To mean, if you can do arrow strats, you have a guaranteed amount that you're getting. It's probably
Yeah.
arrow game, actually.
Yeah, and there's definitely, that's a very, I don't want to call it easy, but definitely a skill that you can quickly pick up and is worth having. Even if you're not using it for most modes, inverted especially, benefits from knowing how to play that.
All right, what ridiculous thing does the game want us to get here in pod? It's got to be something, right?
Yeah, unfortunately for Nep here, it's going to be, there's going to be a little inefficiency in ability to route this dungeon. The mirror makes a big deal, or is a huge deal in just getting around.
Very
And
true.
that's why we're going to see. Oh, I was about to say, is Nep going to burn a key on the front door? No, of course not.
Yeah, these days people are doing middle door for some reason. Oh, okay. Well, there's what the mirror's for. So that is interesting.
Yeah, and unless purple chest really is something that gives us actual progression outside of what we see here in pod, it's likely that the back of Skull Woods is the answer, and it becomes a question of when Nep actually returns to Zora and actually grinds out the money for that.
Yeah, this is the big problem with this is the big problem with not having the mirror here. Is she's got to work her way through smacking her face into a bunch of things a bunch of times until death warping back to the front. All right, so this purple chest is also a fun thing that you can do. Also, what you up to there, Fouton? That's small brain fart. Do not have the book. God, if that was the book, I would have died for a moment.
Fouton is going to check out Agina and the Desert Ledge, though. Good time to check it. Who knows when we're going to see that flute. And with those boots, this will be a real quick dash around.
Yeah, I think especially if you have the boots. I don't know if I do it without the boots. It's a long old walk over to the other side of the desert.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things, if you've got your flute or your boots, this is a good time to head over this way.
Yeah, third sword's a nice find. It is not the thing. It is not whatever was lurking here that we're supposed to find. Neither was that.
Now that's a nice find.
Sure.
With that, Nep can clear Eastern Palace.
Oh, for a second there, I was like, is she going to burn the key on the door to the dark maze? But this makes way more sense coming down from the top of the bomb. I don't know what I'm thinking of. No big key either. So yeah, the trouble is one more key is required to beat this dungeon. So burning that key anywhere else here would be a terrible idea. I mean, that's another fun big key that we definitely need.
Okay, I was curious what was going on Fouton's side. Decided to drain the dam again to head into Swamp Palace, but forgot he hadn't found the flippers yet.
I think he's probably just confused because all the doors go to the right place. All right, where are you two now?
I
Has
think
Nep-
what we're
oh.
yeah, we're gonna see probably a save scum of this last key to check what that vanilla big key chest is, and then if it's nothing, just reset, be done with it.
Yeah, this makes sense. That's not nothing at all.
Nope, we can't save scum that key.
Okay, well, so I guess we're looking for another pod small somewhere. The game gave us 4 of them, right? Like, it's got to be another 5th one kicking around here somewhere. And as expected, this is the Eastern play.
Yeah, and we definitely have a very limited set of places that those two can be. You know, luckily that vanilla big key chest is technically locked behind all 6 pod smalls. So, you know, we get a little bit of knowledge on where those could be.
Very true. So Fouton, weirdly, like, Fouton's still kind of kicking around in logic here, because, you know, he got himself that mirror, which is in logic, which gave him that fire rod, which is in logic, which brings him back here. So Nep's kind of doing a bunch of stuff that is locked behind. We're assuming locked behind the flippers, or a hammer, or just some other weird combination of garbage.
And we do have one more in logic check here in Eastern Palace. You know, we haven't found anything on these first 3. Nep will clear out all of Eastern Palace, but, you know, we did have 3 items that we hadn't seen yet from a logical perspective.
Another out of logic thing that they can potentially get, I mean, that is, ooh, okay, well, we need that. Another potential out of logic thing that we can grab here, at least that Fouton, okay, well, never mind. I was going to say that now that Fouton knows about the lamp on the ledge there, potentially getting that would be an option, but I think he's just never going to go back there. If you have Fire Rod, you can kind of make your way through all of the dark rooms in the game.
Yeah, I think, you know, the only chance we may see Fouton head back there is when he makes a check of Zora, or Quakefish. But other than that, yeah, I don't expect Fouton to pick that up. And there's our first Castle Tower small key. We will need both of those to finish this.
Honestly, I don't think either of them are ever going to see that lamp, because for sure, especially with half magic, I think for sure now that we know that you have to go to the Zora area at least once in order to get your flippers in the first place, I don't think you. I guess Nep has the potential of storing a double water walk in order to get that.
Yeah, either that or maybe a splash deletion. Having the bow does put that as a trick we might see, but yeah, I doubt we're gonna see Fouton pick it up.
I thought we were going to see Fouton pick it up. I'm going to say maybe we won't see Nep pick it up. We'll see, I guess. But it seems like maybe a waste of time.
Yeah, as chat's pointing out, without any fire source right now, it's definitely more likely that we would see Nep at least try to use that splash deletion.
Sink the last one into the wall. There you go. Why not, right? You don't need it.
And
never mind.
Fouton proving us wrong.
I guess if you... I guess if you know that you have to go to Aga Tower, I don't know. Does this save you time over trying to fumble your way through there with the fire rod? I don't know.
I could make an argument either way. There's a lot of dark rooms left, depending on how smooth you can work through them. There's definitely, figure the pod maze, the Meyer basement, Aga Tower. There's a lot of places that if you can just see, you can just move a lot smoother. So not a bad idea.
Yeah. So now finally grabbing some of those hot 20s. By the way, while we've been chatting about nonsense here, Fouton is making his way over to Palace of Darkness. He's going to get his other rod, going to get all that fun stuff out of pod. He's mostly big keys, huh?
Yeah, we haven't found too many of those yet in this early game.
It's true. That's pretty much my whole life. So I think we're seeing Nep here do some of this flipper locked stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
This is a really heads-up play over on Fouton's side, heading into Aga Tower. We have that first key. Let's find out what the rest, what those two items are.
Oh, man, because if this second one is the other Aga Small, that is the spiciest thing that this game can possibly do. But no.
Now, Fouton will be heading over to pod pretty much. Should be getting roughly the same checks that Nep was able to. But that's kind of leave us with probably two options in terms of, where is our progression? Do you check the start of Death Mountain and head into Tower of Hera without a way to really clear it right now? Or are you going to make a gamble into Ice Palace?
I mean, that hammer or that hookshot have got to be somewhere, right? Like, oh yeah, we do have, or we know where the Swamp Small is. So this is actually a potential thing that Fouton might be doing out of here, is doing the first half of Swamp, which is not a crazy idea.
Yeah, the only problem is we're only getting 2 checks out of that beginning of Swamp Palace. We can only go find that first chest, and then, of course, the bombable wall chest. After that, we are hammerlocked as well.
It is a lot of question marks at the moment. I think this play totally makes sense for Fouton. I just have no idea what you do after this. Whether you go up the mountain for a few things or you roll the dice on front of Swamp. Maybe you don't roll the dice on the front of Swamp because you went there earlier without the flippers and you were like, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that, we have to roll the dice on one of these checks that's going to be a very incomplete set of what you'd like to be able to do them. Whichever one you go to, you're going to have to probably come back unless you find the tools in that location to finish them.
Well, I'm going to get a little piece of paper here and write down that it's in first 2 chests in Hera. Is the hammer. That's going to be the hammer. It's going to take us to the right-hand side of Death Mountain. No, that's going to be everything. That's going to unlock the entire rest of the seed. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
I don't actually have a piece of paper. That was a lie. Oh, wait, I do have paper. But I don't have a pen.
I figured it was just a mental notepad.
Yeah. We're really kind of we're seeing a bunch of stuff that the other person has already done here. So Nep's gonna pop into Cave 45 on the way down to deliver this and then be like, why did I pick up this chest? The fire rod was here all along. Yeah, you know, the dash in these dark rooms is pretty spicy. So this is the other, like, if you've got the mirror, this is the other nice thing, is you can pop out the bottom here and pop back over to the sides. You basically, like, go backwards through here. And then you got the mirror. You can just head back out the front. And the other thing is that Fouton doesn't have to make... Yeah, you don't have the big key, Fouton. I get it. That's muscle memory.
And that really would kind of benefit Fouton, because I feel like if Fouton had a hammer and the big key, it's very likely we would see Fouton skip the GT big key up in, and we actually are going to see that mirror giving Fouton the ability to just leave without getting that save.
He's going to have to come back here anyway, right?
Yeah.
But actually,
we'll find another key before having to make that return trip.
Well, there's a decent chance that Palace of Darkness is a pendant and might not have to be completed before GT, which would be real unfortunate. But I don't want to, like, say these things and then make them really happen. So I'm just going to not. Imagine going to the back of Skullwoods with 3 small keys. Oh, what a world.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm sure very odd we find all 3 small keys for that dungeon before actually doing the clear of it.
What was that? That's rude. Honestly, why would it do that?
The fire bar lives to destroy people.
Oh, goaltending, I think is the name for that. I was a tiny bit concerned about the timing of that next, I guess they're called wall masters, even though they're on the ceiling. Tiny bit concerned, not overly concerned. So yeah, this is kind of weird. I think does Nep go back and get that lamp as well now?
I
The
don't
next
believe
question
so.
mark.
I don't
I
think
don't
we're
know.
ever going to see that.
We said that about Fouton, and then, but
Well,
I don't
at least
understand anything
I
about
think
what
at least in
Fouton's doing
Futon's
anymore.
case, you know, there was a case to be made that Futon had to go to Quakefish, wanted to make that check. But for Nep, I can't see that ever happening. There is no reason to ever go back to that side of the map.
You know, it's fair. Like Fouton still did have to do catfish, whereas Nep already had catfish. So, like Fouton kind of had an excuse to be in the area, which I think totally makes sense. Whereas that would be a very specific long trip for Nep to make the way back there. Torch? There you are. Okay, so the next thing I'm just wondering out loud, where is Fouton going? I am deeply curious.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to say is like on Nep's side, you're seeing the play to just knock out a few extra checks before, you know, having to make one of these less desirable ones. And I think Fouton, it looks like Fouton's going to head up Death Mountain. I think this is a good play. You know, even if you don't get anything major out of this, you are getting that save and quit point. So, you know,
I think
you're
in an
getting
all legends
something out
key
of it.
like you're guaranteed to be railroaded into a minimum of one thing at one point, if not several things at several points. So that's just sort of how AD keys goes. I think Fouton is doing the least garbagey of the things that he has to do.
And oh my gosh, that is a great find off of the old man.
Well,
How did you know these things?
I don't know. Like, you know, it's funny. Like this is a lot of it. It's ending up being a lot of things that you just could have done ages ago because that mirror was so early on, and that hook shot also ended up being extremely early on. I guess that's not technically true. Like it was locked behind a lot of things technically, since you had to go through a whole bunch of hoops in order to get your flippers so that you could get your lamp, but nobody follows lamp logic.
Yeah, the only options we had were front portion of Ice Palace, front portion of Swamp, and the mountain.
Which I think of all the things in this game I hate doing the most. Going into Ice Palace when you can't complete Ice Palace is probably right up there at the top. Hey, and we have the Turtle Rock medallion, which is
Yeah, we have two smalls
interesting.
and the big and fire rod and ice rod. We have everything to really go in there. We're just missing one small key to actually be able to, you know, clear it while skipping the lava chest. And there's our pod big key.
Of course, the pod big key is over here. I mean, if nothing else, that is maybe a reason for Fouton. Oh man, there's all the reasons that Fouton could possibly want to go back to Palace of Darkness before going to Gans Tower.
I think we are more likely to see at least a Swamp and Ice Palace play before returning to pod, I would hope. You know, if you're looking from Fouton's side, you're hoping that that'll come later. just because, you know, we know that the GT big key is there. And we are definitely looking for at least one more pod key before then.
All right. Well, the answer was not Hera, but that's nice. It's a slight consolation prize.
Yeah, as you were saying, you know, we're gonna see pretty much very fully stocked runners by the end of this race. You're just guaranteed to pretty much see all of our weapons, you know, 15 plus hearts, good chance of red and blue mail, or blue and red mail.
And billions of dollars. Or a couple bucks anyway. This also opens up it opens up Pyramid. Not that that's a deeply interesting option right now, but it is an option right now. Hey, there's the other castle tower small. Okay. That's a potential thing that you could look for 50 years.
And that was our third Turtle Rock small key as well out of Paradox Cave. So,
oh boy, so now Turtle Rock's not a stupid idea.
yeah, it looks like going right instead of climbing the mountain to start is paying off just a little bit more for this early set.
Yeah, it's not like you're really going to do any better in Turtle Rock with a gold sword instead of a tempered one. You know, there's nothing I like more than a seed where you have to do an early Turtle Rock actually being capable of doing a Turtle Rock early. Although this is another one, just to play devil's advocate with myself, I guess. This is another one where potentially they're going to keep themselves away from the vanilla big key chest in here, and that's another stupid one that could potentially have something dumb in it, like the flute or the entry requirement for Misery Mire, some stupid thing, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we all have those stories of, oh, I went in, only had 3 small keys. Oh wait, I miscounted because I see that Fouton has
Hey.
4 smalls.
Well, there you go. Never mind. This is the ideal situation. Complete the whole place. Why not?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so I mean, if there's ever got to be something somewhere, it's got to be here, right?
Yeah, no, when you got an opportunity to full clear a dungeon, you take it.
Hey, that I mean, we don't know if that's necessary, but it's nice to have. Like, I would say it's nicer to have 2 medallions before going to Turtle Rock than it is before going to Misery Mire, but still, this makes you feel pretty good about Misery Mire. Yeah, this is surprisingly like we need some keys. What keys do we need? We need a Mire Big.
We need the Mire Big. We need Actually, in
Yeah.
terms of keys, that's the only one we really don't know where it is.
Could be anywhere. So we need a Meyer Big. We definitely need a flute. We might need that Bombos medallion. Still a question mark.
Yeah, for an hour in, our runners are in great shape to be in go mode sooner rather than later. Now, the one other piece that is really important here is we do need at least one more pod small as well. And that was a really good, well-timed fourth piece of heart there on the lava island chest.
Of course, the fourth, or the 4-key locked chest there that nobody ever gets ended up being complete garbage. Oh, Fouton, the last spin. Oh my gosh, if he skipped both Big Chest and Mimic Cave, I was going to be deeply upset. No, he's fine. Everything's fine. I am kind of digging this low-key Pepto-Bismol flavor for Turtle Rock over on the right.
Yeah, it's a different look, but not terrible.
It's kind of like a Willy Wonka. Bet you Misery Mire is one of our other pendants. That's probably why we don't have all the stuff we need for it yet, because...
Yeah, we're kind of waiting for that thing that's going to make this seed more difficult or, like, not so straightforward. There's definitely just been this... We've been able to kind of just go through every... Oh, there we go. There's one thing that runners would not like to see right now.
Oh, the boiling sea of Pepto-Bismol. Yeah, that Thieves' Small is gross. That is not a place you want to go back to. That is a long march of shame for one thing. All right, Laser Bridge, bail us out of this. And nope, that's not going to do it. Actually, I don't think any small keys are going to do it at this point.
I mean, a pod small, yes, but yeah, besides that, none of the small keys are really that helpful. The only other thing that really would have helped Fouton was maybe finding, you know, a key for Hera. Get that extra check in there. And yes, we do have access now to Desert Palace with the big key, so only thing we couldn't get is the 2 items on the right side, so Desert Small would at least give us full access to clear that whole dungeon.
Yeah, this place has kind of been not... What is this? What is this fight you're doing? What? This is the most mysterious... Okay. Well, the heads died, so what do I know?
There's our flute, so that is great, easy access to the desert area.
Yeah, damn.
And yeah, surprisingly, I guess Nep skipped the right side of the front of TR.
I guess that's not the craziest thing. I don't know. Like, you can just hop right back inside. I guess we do, of course, have to see this Tower of Hera play first.
And yes, as Chad is noticing, that was an excellent Trinex zero cycle. One of the great advantages of having Butter Sword already.
Yeah, definitely how you want to see that done. All right, so once again, they're going to be playing a little bit of catch up with each other.
Now, unfortunately, the one check we can't actually do up here on Death Mountain right now is Spike Cave. We'll be able to get everything else done, but we just don't have the health, and I don't believe either of our runners have something in a bottle to make their way through.
I mean, you can get to the back of there with a pretty minimal set of hearts if you really believe in yourself.
Yeah, but I think generally speaking, the minimum number of hearts is, I believe, 14, and that's if you have pretty much perfect movement.
Okay, so the next place Nep needs to head here is question mark. I mean, yeah, I guess Fouton's routing is kind of working out for him. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much completely dead even at this point. The only real difference we have is Nep does have the GT big key already. But that's really all that separates our runners.
yeah, it definitely seems to make the most sense right now. Check your requirement for Misery Mire. Make sure that you can actually complete it. Finish up Desert Palace. All that business. Although Fouton is on a little bit of a detour here.
Yeah, at least trying to, see what that hammer pegs is. I think this is really the last thing besides Magic Bat in this area of the map. So probably thinking, I'm never returning here anyway, so let's at least get this out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the neighborhood, right? Don't quite think we need any money anymore at this point. There is Thieves Down Big Chest. I'm not sure. Given the option between hitting up Mire and Desert and all that business, I think I understand maybe passing on Thieves Big for now.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 other dungeons that are much better choices right now.
Speaking of which, we also know that we have the medallions that we need, so we don't need that Bombos medallion at all. Although, I guess if it turns up, that's not the worst possible thing. Although I don't even think you use it here at all. It's much, much faster to just stick with Fire Rod when you're doing Cold Stare.
Yeah, given that we've got that gold sword already, there is no reason that either of these runners would pull out Bombos for a Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, that is one of the things we kind of half worried about earlier is last locationing that big key.
Yeah, I think if you're hoping or rooting for Fouton in this race, what you want to see is another pod small before he returns to the Palace of Darkness. As long as he finds one more, he'll definitely pull that the vanilla big key chest.
So we're basically just looking for a Mire Big, I think. Unless I'm...
And a pod small.
And a pod small. Which my hot prediction is that Mire is our pendant. So, like... I think we have a decent chance of Mire Big being either in Ganon's Tower or maybe locked behind it in some way, although there's not a whole lot of ways that could be. We haven't seen a mushroom or a mushroom or powder yet.
So yeah, we are technically running out of, I guess we'd call them almost shenanigans for GT. There really isn't a lot that can be inside of GT in terms of required to complete dungeons.
The other fun fact about GT is that because this is a 7 crystal required seed, there's an even lower chance of there being anything in GT. A lot of that's just going to be full of junk. Is that...
It was a nice Palace small key.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, that's fine.
Yeah, and Nep's actually not even going to take a dip into Mire at this point.
That's kind of interesting, but like I can understand that. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, in terms of a quick dungeon, Desert is definitely a quicker dungeon, and so if you were able to somehow find go mode in Desert, you're able to avoid having to dip either, or you're able to go mode Ice and Swamp Palace, which will save a lot of time.
All right. Is this our last crystal? Our pendant? It was not, is the answer to that question. So yeah, that increases the chances that we're going to find that thing in Misery Mire instead, which is what I really want. I don't even know why I want that. I think because it just, there's a potential of there being shenanigans linked behind there. Hey, thanks, Felix. Yeah, it kind of looks like if you melted bubblegum onto a grate.
Yeah, this is
Fun-
definitely the next logical choice on Fouton's side, you know, heading into Swamp Palace, still hoping to find those last couple of items needed.
Fun fact, actually, with those 4 bottles, Strike Cave has been in Logic for quite some time. Although, really, you don't want to do it like that. But that is taken into consideration.
Yeah, it was in Logic, just I don't think our runners had anything in them to get through it earlier, so...
No, it's kind of a nasty setup. Having to go all the way to the witch without a mushroom. I don't know why you'd ever do that.
Fortunately, we did get a big key in Swamp Palace in that first chest, but it was the one for Skull Woods.
Yeah, also not particularly something I want to see. All right. So Fouton's going to answer the question of is whatever we're looking for in Swamp Palace? I don't know. I feel like probably not. I feel like we're probably going to have to go through the entire rest of everything here. He is also hunting around for that Ganon Tower big key, which is I think is going to send him to quite a few more places than he would otherwise, which is a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I think one of the things to keep in mind here is, you know, in terms of the logic that we're expecting, we're gonna need the Hera Big Key as well to technically put something like Pyramid Fairy in logic, but you know, so this could be coming up soon.
This is pretty typical for the kind of situation you get into at the end of these all dungeon keys seeds, is that you're looking through all the dungeons for a couple of keys, which I think is very appropriate. Kind of fits the name.
And just another GT small on left side of Swamp. Really nothing there this time.
Nep is hot on his tails. Tails? Just the one tail, I think. Hey, that's what we're looking for. Another pod small. Perfect. Okay. So we're not in a terrible situation here. And hopefully that's going to send Fouton towards Palace of Darkness before anything else crazy happens, so he can get his Gannis Tower small key, or big key rather, the big one.
Yeah, definitely a good argument to be made that we're going to see pod next. Just, clear that out.
Yeah, we do have like another couple of weird little checks kicking around that that shouldn't be horrible. Come on, get us out of this. Have the Misery Mire big key. Be nice. Nope, that is 10 bombs. All right, well, that's not even close to a key.
But that is our 6th crystal, so we are just 1 crystal away from GT access.
Yep, it's also looking real good for that Misery Mire pendant prediction. I think that is almost certainly what we're looking at here, is a Misery Mire pendant that's locked behind GT in some way. Yeah, what is with these fire bars? Come on. Or fire snakes, rather. They are really quality goaltenders today.
And Fouton, it looks like, is going to head over and do the Pyramid Ferry first before returning to pod.
I think this makes sense because I think he can also like sort of combo Aga 1 into this, which is an okay thing.
I don't know if we're going to get the Aga 1 play. Tough to say at this point, just because, we know there's nothing behind Aga 1, and that's always a good kind of play to leave to the end of these types of seeds.
I feel like if you're going all the way up there, you may as well, right?
I don't know. If I have the option, I like to save Aga 1 for last. It gives you that free health refill before you hit Ganon at the end. If there is a timing element to it, yeah, I'll do Aga 1 earlier, but if I can save it till the end, all the better.
He's going to have to swap to mirror anyway. Hey, there's a big key, too. Oh, there it is. Okay, well, he's got it.
We are in no mode. We know where everything is and how to finish this seed. All we need is for Fouton to actually head back to pod and collect that GT big key in the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, so it's a big question. Where is he going right now? He's going to Mire. Okay. So this is a little unfortunate because it means that he's going to make his way through. This totally makes sense. 100% makes sense. You're gonna full clear Desert Palace and full clear Mire before you make your way back to pod. Makes sense, but it's unfortunate because he's going to end up full clearing these dungeons. Although, in the case of one of them, Nep has already sort of gone through the process of full clearing as much of desert as possible. So that one's not a big deal. Mire is a slightly bigger deal.
Depends this could come down to how soon Nep decides to go do Pyramid Ferry. And given that Nep is right here at Swamp Palace, it's just a very quick dash up there.
Yeah, we'll see. I think this routing does end up making sense in that way. Nope. Swapping a flute. Where are you going then? Oh yeah, back to pod. Yes, this makes sense, but so this is also fine because Fouton is going to end up doing a bunch of Palace of Darkness as well anyway. Although Nep is probably going to go back and do the big chest and oh, this is going to be weird actually, because it really comes down to whether this Palace of Darkness is the crystal or whether it is the pendant. Because if it is the pendant, then Nep still has to do Misery Mire before going to Ganon's Tower, and so still has to hunt around for that big key. Whereas if Pod is the crystal, then Nep might be incentivized to just go up the mountain and go open up Ganon's Tower and hunt around for the big key to Mire in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of logic there. You know, we talked about it earlier. We do have 27 locations inside of Ganon's Tower. And while a lot of those will be worthless, in this kind of mode, there's always that thought in the back of your mind, oh my gosh, so many items. It's got to be something up there.
Yeah. In this case, we know for a fact that what are you doing? What are these boss fights? What is going on? Is everything okay? Well. Yeah, I am deeply, deeply curious here whether it is the crystal or the pendant here at the end of Palace of Darkness, because this is, you know, usually in an all dungeons keys seed, it doesn't. Usually in an all dungeons keys seed, it doesn't end up being that important, but it actually genuinely may end up being important here, where the crystals and pendants are.
Yeah, on that side, you know, we're just running out of checks that are densely populated areas, so there's definitely that thought of where's the dense location. It's GT. I'll go clear GT, probably find it, and then be able to just, you know, go to it afterwards. But, you know, so this really will come down to what is pod. We do know that Mire Big is on the Pyramid Ferry, or inside of the pyramid, on one of those two chests. And that is our final crystal. So this is really gonna kind of give where this race goes after this.
Okay.
Is Nep gonna head for the pyramid, or is Nep heading up the mountain?
Oh.
And a save and quit tells me that it's very likely we could be seeing the mountain.
Oh boy. All right. Well, this got interesting.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. You know, if Nep full clears the basement, and we expect Fouton will go to pod after this to, you know, finish clearing out pod. We expect Fouton will find the GT big key and be in go mode.
I mean, why would you do pyramid, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I guess Fouton's crazy routing is, of course, there's the big key of nothing that anyone cares about.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have a lot of big keys for dungeons we don't care for. And you got to think at this point, one of those is likely where the Hera big key was.
Fortunately, you just get to completely ignore the big key.
And that's our 6th pod small key.
Also kind of weirdly nice. Yeah, so that Ganon's Tower big key is in the vanilla big key chest in Palace of Darkness. And that is really the only thing that Fouton needs to find left in the game. We suspect it's very likely that he's going to make his way over there immediately after this.
Meyer has a lot of big keys, just not the ones we want.
All complete garbage, which is really, I guess, fortunate. But I got, for Fouton, he's got to be like sitting there terrified. Like any one of those could be, any one of those could be the Ganon's Tower big key. Well, this is this is interesting, Fouton.
And hey, we got the Bombos medallion over in the Stalfos room, and Nep's actually gonna immediately climb GT. I'm curious about the decision making here.
There's nothing to get here. Nep just must have forgotten about the GT big.
Well, no, I mean, Nep has the GT big. So
oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
But Nep is missing the Misery Meyer big, so I'm curious what the gamble is here.
Hope that it's up the tower.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this could save the race for Nep, depending on how things work out. If Nep does the Pyramid Fairy after clearing GT like this could be a huge time save, and help draw things a little or more even. But if not, I'm not sure what the play is.
I'm starting to like Fouton's boss fight strategy. Just do it. Just hit the enemies enough times until they die. Who cares? There's that hair small. Speaking of gross one-off checks that you don't want to do.
Yeah, we keep on finding all those keys. What that means is at least one of those locations must have been our Hera big. And unfortunately, Fouton is heading back into Meyer. Did try to skip the cutscene chest, but wants to check it just in case.
Yeah, you skipped the bridge chest.
Oh, was it the bridge chest? I'm sorry.
Which is so weird. I'm gonna stop questioning him.
Sorry, I would have thought that the one to skip was cutscene.
Oh yeah, the one to skip is the one to skip, right?
Instead of hookshotting over to that one.
It's real mystery, Scoob. It's literally every stupid big key and small key that you don't want to see.
Well, what we do know is that means that logically you would have had to double dip Meyer for this seed.
Yeah, that's wild and real stupid. Hey, nice shovel.
I'm curious why Fouton was picking up that small key, though. I think Fouton has it. Oh, maybe it was the desert small. I guess is the only thing that could have helped.
Yeah. We gotta assume he's heading to pod, right?
Looks
yeah,
like
there we go. Okay, well, this really This really makes this race weirdly spicy.
Yeah, this is really going to come down to what Nep does after beating Aga 2. The sooner Nep takes on does Pyramid Fairy, you know, the better chance to keep this close.
What makes it slightly worse is that Nep is obviously going to do Aga 1 after this, which is just going to make the wait a little bit more tantalizing before we... It is kind of wild. You're leaving a lot of stuff on the table in that GT basement. Not...
And Fouton is making...
The
first play Fouton's making is for the vanilla big key chest, so...
Yeah, so this is it.
Yep, this will be go mode for Fouton.
This is the other slightly unfortunate thing is Nep is probably just never going to... I mean, definitely at this point, never ever going to get that... never ever going to get that lamp. So it's going to be a slightly slower process getting through some of these dark rooms. Which just makes it... It just puts off that tantalizing, like, where are you going after this? I need to know. I gotta know.
Yeah, Fouton is clearing his final dungeon before heading up to Ganon's tower and then going to do Aga Tower and finishing up with Ganon.
Yeah, so it's really down to, like, I'm not sure. I'm just... Gonna wait to figure out what Nep does first, and then ask a million questions about timing on things that I have no idea what the answers are.
If Nep heads to Mire, I think we can safely say that, you know, Fouton will have a lead. If Nep instead heads to do Pyramid Fairy, I think we can say the opposite.
Well, if Nep has to do Pyramid Fairy, I think it's just going to be real weirdly close, because I think Fouton has been having some weird boss fights, although that was fine. But yeah, ignoring the hammer hits with your gold sword, bud. Ignoring those for a second, it was fine. God, Dead Rock, you killing me. So much goaltending in this game. It's really very rude. This is also interesting. You don't usually see the warp to the Dark World using that particular portal, but sure. All right, where are you two now?
And unfortunately, SailorNep is heading into Misery Mire, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Just specifically in this case, it happens to be but there's so much stuff there. I don't know. This is it's not terrible. I think there's just like Nep has a bunch of really rough decisions to make, and it's just a weird dice roll between some terrible yeah, because there's a bunch of stuff in here. You can get 6 things in here. And while there's a lot of stuff in Ganon's tower, there's a lot of stuff here too. Yeah, the other problem is those 6 things send you on a lot of a lot of stupid goose chases. Although I don't think you do any of those. Like you don't do big chests in dungeons before doing Pyramid Fairy. That's
Exactly.
But it's still a pretty disheartening, especially since we know there's so many big keys in here. It's got to be a little disheartening to open several chests that you see have big keys in them, and just have them not be the right big key that you're looking for. Like you're like, ooh, oh no, it's Ice Palace. Ooh.
Yeah, it's got to be a rough feeling. I think Fouton was probably feeling the same at going through that dungeon while looking for that GT big key.
Another pod small you just don't need. Yeah, so Nep is pretty close to being done with this play.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to, what is the next play? As Chad is kind of pointing out, if Nep heads to the pyramid next, this could get really tight. All Nep would have to do is return to Mire, take down Vitreous, and be on the Ganon fight, while Fouton is still having about half a GT climb and, well, about a third of the GT climb and all of Aga Tower. So this would be really close.
3 incorrect big keys. It's just... Yeesh. I think this one makes sense. It's something that you like. All of those were really terrible options of dungeons that you're going to have to like crawl through. And this one is just, it's right there. You can do it in 10 seconds. All right. Okay, I think this is the Pyramid Fairy check, unless... Nope, never mind. It's the shovel check. This also makes sense. It's another real close by thing.
Yeah, and hopefully, that does mean that we should see Pyramid Fairy next. Although, unfortunately, pulling out the hook shot says we're heading back up the mountain.
Okay, well... So this is either... It could have been Hera. I think this is going back into GT for the 10 billion items in the basement.
Yeah, we might see a Hera dip here, but we do know that, you know, the answer is not going to be here. In terms of what Nep does have left in GT, Nep really just did the Stalfos room and saw the torch before climbing it. So yeah, a lot of checks are there.
Yeah, that's looking like it's absolutely looking like it. I don't want to quite say it yet. Yeah, that's a GT check. Again, 100% makes sense. Ton of stuff in the basement there. Also, the other, like, those silver arrows also just gotta be in here somewhere. It would be, unless they're in one of those weird one-off garbage places here.
Oh, I'm going with one of the garbage ones at this point.
Not that spins versus silvers. It's really going to cut the difference here. We'll learn from Ganon anyway, either way. Well, at least we got our bug net. So the small things in life you gotta live for. Well, as predicted, it's a bunch of garbage in here.
Yeah, I think the most thrilling thing we saw in GT was that blue mail. Oh, there's the silvers.
Hey! I was right about one thing. God, I love these ice floors. This is delightful. You know, ignoring the basement here also kind of makes sense in the context of, like, you know that GT is seeded with a bunch of garbage. So, like, why bother? I think it's a value play. Other things having stuff kind of makes sense. You're kind of looking at other locations to their value is better just because you know that
tough.
GT has been seeded with a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I mean, we had a race last night where actually I think we found 4 big keys and one of our castle tower smalls, all in GT basement. So, you know, it's not unheard of to expect a lot there, even with all that junk.
Yeah, it's not crazy. I just think like if you're looking at if you're looking at everywhere that it could be and thinking to yourself, well, maybe just with the junk that's been seeded in there, maybe it's more likely for it to actually be in Mire than it would be in GT basement.
Exactly.
There's a pretty good chance for it to be. But I don't think any of this stuff is crazy. It's just not where it ended up being. Another Fouton. Why are you doing all these spins? And turning in blue. Why are you doing this? You're driving me crazy. Why are you making them blue? Whoa. I don't know if he's just goofing or. Well, Fouton doesn't have the arrows, but also, you know, don't make them blue.
But there we go. Down goes Ganon, and Fouton, you know, as long as crosses that bridge, we'll be able to finish up on this race. And Fouton has crossed the bridge and has finished with an official racetime.gg time of 1:51:42. Get those GGs in for Fouton.
Speaking of the existence of Fouton, hello, Fouton.
Hello.
How's it going?
I need to work on every single one of my boss fights.
All the boss fights?
All the boss fights.
Yeah, I wasn't actually going to bring it up, but now that you brought it up, yeah, there was some spicy fights in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely got in my own head early when I made that first swamp dip without flippers, and then I guess I just struggled on a lot of bosses since then.
And just real quick, looks like soon after Fouton had said they were done, we did get a forfeit on SailorNep's end.
And speaking of the existence of Nep as well, she joins us here. How's it going?
That was definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, you very rarely see it come down in all dungeons to where your last crystal or pendant ends up being, because I feel like maybe that sort of guided your hand in where you decided to go after getting all 7 crystals.
Yeah, my thinking after Swamp was I want to finish Pod first and see whether it's a crystal or a pendant. Because for all I know, maybe Helmasaur has the Mire Big Key, and if so, then I'm wasting time going anywhere else. And then I thought, okay, GT's open, Mire's a pendant dungeon, and I'm missing 3 big keys for logical GT access. If I go do a bunch of random checks, I might just be throwing away time, because yeah, I could have gone to Pyramid Fairy, but at the same time, it's like, well, then do I do hammer pegs? Do I follow up on the Ice Palace Big Key if I find that? Stuff like that. So I thought my best bet here with Mire being a pendant is to just bet on GT and see what happens.
Yeah, I had a very inverse thought of I don't like skipping a lot of overworld spots, so I like to clean them all up on my way to every dungeon. So I hit up like hammer pegs and stuff like that when I was activating Flute, and I wanted to route in the entire swamp area because it's kind of annoying to get back to before I went to Pod. And then I got lucky, found it, and didn't have to go to Pod right away. Although that was where the other big key I wanted was.
That may also have been the consequences of our difference in routing with finding the mirror you earlier. With me getting that a lot later, there were just a bunch of things that I kind of had in uncomfortable positions that I couldn't have avoided with my route.
Yeah.
Going back and filling those in, that felt like a weaker play than just hoping that it's on the path that I'm on. And sometimes it might have been, but this time it just wasn't. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just a weird distribution of I don't know. I feel like all dungeons keys is maybe more of a dice roll than other
Yeah,
weeks.
definitely. By the way, Nep, every big key we were missing was in Mire.
Yeah.
I hit all of them.
Because what I did is I went to GT and I did a hedge. I did DM's room and Hope room, and then ran up the tower. After finding nothing there, I killed Aga since I was on the pyramid, and then I went to Mire, found all those big keys, and I was just like, well, I gotta hope this is somewhere really, really annoying. So I went
Oh yeah,
back
you
to
you
GT
found those.
again, and then after that, I was like, I guess I'll go do Thieves Town Big Chest, and on the way to that was a big no.
Yeah, I was just looking for the GT big key, so Mire was just a bunch of, oh sweet, okay, did the auto tracker light that up yet? No. Damn.
Well, it was exciting to watch. You had us going back and forth for quite a big time. And there were a whole bunch of things that you were doing where I say edge of seat. I don't know if I can get to the edge of my seat. I feel too chill for that, but real close to the edge of the seat of where are you going next, especially getting near to the end with Neb. What's the next play? So you put on an exciting show for us.
Yeah, definitely. It was a back and forth race the whole time. I think for at least from Fantalis's side and mine, it was, back and forth the whole way. Even with that early mirror, it never felt like either runner was real far ahead or behind at any moment.
I guess that also comes with all dungeons keys, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, well, there's still 20 keys left to find, so whatever. Any just while we're sort of watching the credits fly by here, any last thoughts about this one? Weird things, mysteries.
I think I'll just go ahead and leave off with a GG, and thank you to all of you with the Restream crew who put this on. We'll be doing our best to still try and finish strong from here.
Yeah, you're going in next week with 24 and 24.
Yeah, all of us in this conference, well, all the teams that are close to the playoffs right now in this conference, we have 3 8-3 teams now. Wadey has to play another match, or not Wadey, Andy plays against Edium later this week between us again, and then I believe the team Error 216 has another match. So we're all at 8 wins for the top 4, so it's going to be a horrible week next week. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I was just looking over the standings real quick. Yeah, it's 24 points pretty much across the board. The only team at 24 points who has finished their matches this week is the Komodo Hypers.
Yeah, and we face off against them next week, so it's basically a head-to-head on who makes it, unless we both go 1-1 and the other teams have a bit of trouble. So it's going to be really dicey. I think they technically have the tiebreaker on us as well if we go 1-1, so we really need the next win this week.
Looking forward to seeing how this all shakes down next week.
Yeah. Thanks for comms.
All right. Thanks for playing the video game. It was a good video game. Thanks
Sometimes.
to Duodeca for setting this all up for us. Thanks to Yoniker's wife for doing the tracking and clicking all the fun buttons. Thanks also to Radical Sniper for chilling with me. And
This
talking
was a
about
fun
this weird
time.
seed.
Thank you for having me along with you, Vantalis.
Look at that hot 166 collection rate. That for all dungeons keys, that's pretty good.
And a sub 2. I think anybody will take a sub 2 in this mode.
Yeah, I was very happy with that.
Not having to do any of GT, which I guess that's not crazy. Anyway, yeah, give both these runners a follow. We got other fun stuff happening on here. I gotta click a button to figure out what in the heck it is. I don't think we have anything else going on tonight, do we? It's oh no, we do. No, yeah.
Looks like we do have a race coming up or starting soon over on. I thought it was SpeedGaming 3 has one.
It is SpeedGaming 3. If you want to go watch Gamachu versus Misher, they're
just about to get started. So if you are looking for more Invitational Randomizer League, there's your another 80 keys race.
Hungry for more. And then everything else is kind of going on tomorrow. So
yeah, and there's plenty of great races the rest of this week, you know. As we near the playoffs of the Invitational League, you know, all these matches are just getting more and more intense. So
yeah, if you want to see a spicy race for the crown, 4:10 p.m. tomorrow, 18 points versus 18 points. Walter and In the Name of DT fighting off to figure out who passes the 20-point mark. Should be fun. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed because that's what I do at this time of day. I hope all of you have. That's not the worst idea I've ever had. I hope all of you have a delightful evening or morning. I don't know where you are.